Good afternoon, everyone from Pathways that's joining us. Um, as we shared, we're fortunate to have Donnell Wright from University Admissions here at Virginia Tech, undergraduate admissions, joining us today. I'll give a brief introduction to Donnell. Donnell hails from the south side of Chicago. I'm hoping that you're a White Sox and a Bulls fan.
I am a White Sox fan, but I'm actually an Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay, I can't go there. Cannot
The
go there.
the
I'm
Bulls are in
actually
my heart, but I grew up watching I grew up watching the Sonics. So when they transitioned
yeah.
over to them to OKC, I've been there. So yeah.
Well, I'm Golden State, but I have to admit that as a kid, I really was into the Bulls there. But that's obviously connected to the Jordan years. But Golden State's who I go for right now. So hoping the draft works out for us. Um, so anyhow, Donnell's from South Side of Chicago. He has a passion for accessibility and attainability for underrepresented youth. Donnell earned his bachelor's degree at the University of Virginia. Glad to have you here. And continues his service in the Virginia College Advising Corps as a college advisor and continued his service in the Virginia College Advising Corps as a college advisor at Armstrong High School in Richmond, Virginia. His hometown again is Chicago, Illinois there. So do appreciate you joining us, Donnell, and I'll hand it over to you.
Let me know if the volume is up too, because there are going to be a couple videos going on as well. So I'm going to give you the full on admissions presentation as well, and we're gonna have a conversation with this. This is going to be a legitimate conversation. I like to engage with individuals, so by all means, utilize the group chat. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask away. However way this is all set up, I'm really more so the question and answer kind of guy. But before we get on, I just wanted to welcome everyone. Um, and is for what for we really wish we could have you in Blacksburg on the Virginia Tech campus, so then we could give you an opportunity to actually see Virginia Tech and feel that Hokie spirit and Hokie Nation that kind of brought you here, or that you feel not only within the Commonwealth but all across the country and world. So we really wish we can have you on campus. So just first want to give you a formal welcome. Okay, can y'all hear now? Nice. Y'all are the goats. Look at y'all. Oh, oh yes. Yes.
Hello, my name is Patty Perilla.
My name is Mena Pratt Clark.
My name is Terrell Edmonds.
My name is Jill Seibel.
Jina langu ni Rachel Woodson.
مرحبا أنا اسمي أمال الحربي.
Hola, me llamo Evelyn.
Hello, my name is Andrew.
Merhaba, benim adım Hikmet Gürsoy.
Hello, I'm Jeff.
你好，我叫李英格。
I'm Tim Sands, president of Virginia Tech.
I want you to know
That
You are welcome here.
At Virginia Tech, you are welcome here.
Hapa Virginia Tech unakaribishwa sana.
Virginia Tech'e hoş geldiniz.
هنا في فيرجينيا تك أنتم مرحب بكم. You are welcome here.
Tú eres bienvenido aquí.
At Virginia Tech,
You are welcome here.
welcome.
Bienvenido.
welcome.
Welcome.
欢迎
Welcome.
Marhaba.
welcome.
Welcome.
Hoş geldiniz.
Karibu.
Welcome.
All right. So that's that official welcome. And again, we really wish we can have you guys on campus, so you can actually experience that Hokie spirit and Hokie Nation that's on our campus as well, that you felt the wealth of the Commonwealth. Got, I guess, another reiteration again for the third time. I guess the third time's a charm. My name is Donnell Wright. I'm assistant director in the undergraduate office at admissions. Ironically, I'm not an alum of Virginia Tech. I'm a proud Wahoo. So I graduated from the University of Virginia in 2016 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I love Chicago and everything about it. In the territories that I have now, that I have now. Before I had a very robust territory, but the certs I have now are Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia. So those are the areas that I represent, and as well as I do a lot of in-state things as well, since I have some experience in the Richmond area. So I'll be in the Richmond and the Tidewater areas as well. But enough about me. We're going to go on and continue on and start this presentation from here. So a little bit about Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was founded in 1872 as Virginia Agricultural and Mechanical College. And at that time in 1872, we're all male, all white, all Virginian, and all military. Surprisingly enough, and greatly in the same effort, we no longer look like that. We now have over 30,000 students representing from over 48 different states and over 45 different countries as well. And also, we do have more than just two particular majors. We have over 110 majors, over 200 minors and concentrations within our 8 colleges. And here's some of our colleges here, and we added one as well, so that's one we have to add in here. So our agriculture and life sciences, architecture and urban studies, College of Engineering, College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences, College of Natural Resource and Environment, Pamplin College of Business, and our College of Science. And the one that we just added is going to be a College of Public Health. That's going to be a collaborative effort with our Virginia Maryland College of Veterinary Medicine for students who want to get into public health as well as vet med and things of that nature. I do want to make this a very strong statement, because this is something, especially for those students or individuals who are unaware of how Virginia Tech, the process is in general. If this is the first time hearing about Virginia Tech, students apply directly to a major within our 8 colleges. So if you're interested, let's say, in human nutrition, food, and exercise, then you apply directly to that major in our agriculture and life sciences college. If you're interested in engineering, say you want to do something in engineering or mechanical engineering, you apply directly to the College of Engineering. Or if you want to do something in business, then you can do our Pamplin College of Business and accounting, finance, business information technology, real estate, so on and so forth. So you apply directly to those programs. However, we know that a lot of students are very much so uncertain about what exactly they want to start their college careers off. I was exactly the same way. I went to UVA thinking I was going to be an accountant, and that never worked out. That's what I found out, that math was not my strong suit. I thought it was, but not at all. So I quickly switched over to something that I was a little bit more comfortable in, which is obviously talking to people, and which I ended up here now. So we do have undecided routes for everyone. We have undecided routes in all 8 of our colleges. So you know you want to do something, let's say in our pamphlet in business, but not sure if you want to do accounting or finance or business information technology, then you can do College of Business undecided. Or say you want to do something in a college like something sciencey, but you don't know if you want to do microbiology or biology, chemistry, polymer chemistry, biological systems, or whatever the case may be, you can just do College of Science undecided. So those are different opportunities that we have, as well as an undecided route. Um, what does it mean to be undecided? Undecided means that you are completely not sure, you're unsure of what major you are interested in. So you just love Virginia Tech, you want to come to Virginia Tech, but you're not sure what you want to study. That's realistically what undecided means. Because students you receive a major, you end up majoring in something of that study. So your degree is going to be in whatever that bachelor's degree in science or art in that particular area that you're studying, which you'll major in. So my major was sociology, but I came into UVA with an accounting, interested in accounting. That's a little different from Virginia Tech. For here, if you're interested in microbiology, then you can apply to microbiology and that'll be your major. But if you don't know what exactly you want to apply to, then you can do undecided, which is all of those, or you can do university studies and explore technology, which is our 2-year program where students are able to actually explore all the different majors that we have, because we have so many. So for those students who are interested, let's say in like the political science field, we have a wild, robust of many majors that students can go into. But if they're not interested in those, then you have the opportunity for that. I know this is pathways for engineering, so I can talk a little bit more specifically about engineering, but I do want to make sure the students are aware of the different opportunities that Virginia Tech has in general. But for engineering, I do want to put in perspective that as students apply to the College of Engineering, you come in as a general engineer. So that is the undecided route. for engineering, and we make students actually go into the general engineering to explore the different majors that we have within our College of Engineering. A lot of students say they want to do mechanical engineering or aerospace, computer science, computer engineering, but once they actually get to Virginia Tech and they actually have those conversations with their advisors and professors and things of that nature, they end up changing those majors to different programs. So we want to make sure the students know exactly what they want to do, are aware of the different curriculum, the career options that go along with that particular program. And then after 1 or 2 years, you go directly into your program. And the College of Engineering can share a little bit more specifics about their particular process of you gaining that major within that. But as well with with undergraduate opportunities, we do want to make sure the students are available for different post-bachelor opportunities, whether that is PhD or master's programs. We do have 38 direct direct bachelor's to master's programs and 12 direct bachelor's to PhD programs. Our students are able to get those extra opportunities to go straight into those. So definitely, if you let us know early on, we can actually script that curriculum. So we already know exactly what's your pathway and actually achieving those different goals from then on. But now we're going to talk about 3 kind of pillars that kind of define that Hokie spirit and that Hokie Nation. And that first thing is going to be UPROSM. So UPROSM is our motto for that I may serve. So service is very integral to the Virginia Tech spirit and the nation, to what kind of built Virginia Tech, not out in its completely in addition, but outside as well to the core cadets, which we have as well, which is basically we basically have a military institution on a civilian campus where students are able to get that military perspective, civilian or not, at Virginia Tech, similar to Texas A&M and whatnot.
Helping people in the Christiansburg, Glassburg area, I figured, like, why not contribute to somebody else's happiness, you know?
Yes, we're bringing food to the Giving Tree, but we're also getting to interact with members of our community and getting to learn how to provide food in mass quantities.
I started volunteering with them by doing diversion shifts in the dining hall kitchens, repackaging food. My spring semester, I did still the diversion shifts and also started doing delivery. And then this semester, I started leading the shifts.
Overall, I'm saying I could do this again because it's pretty fun. I mean, it's a good way to get involved with the community. And just a great experience. I mean, you get to help people and you get to hang out with friends.
All right, so that's a quick little snippet of what service looks like to us. But the next thing is that we very key on is moving beyond boundaries. And this is more so going to look at the educational approach that we have to our approach to education and how we want to make sure that students are moving beyond boundaries in an experiential and collaborative effort to learning. So this goes to like the research that we have. Over 70% of our students are doing some form of undergraduate research, and that's for every year. So students are coming in with the opportunities to research, to gain research opportunities, not only with their professors, but other students as well throughout their time here. And that goes to great opportunities for students to go into those different study abroad, co-op, and internship opportunities for students to get that experience at your particular majors or career options. Around 30% of our students actually do something in study abroad, so it's not the most robust option, but students do take advantage of that, as we do have so many great opportunities for students to do it. But it's truly dependent on the student and their and the pathways that they particularly have with it. But co-ops and internships are widely accessible. Smith Career Center works with all students, not just with engineering students, to make sure that those students are being successful. But we do have one of the largest engineering fairs in the East Coast, where almost over 300 different employers actually come to Virginia Tech to hire specific Hokies for those different job opportunities, co-ops, and internships. But again, they can share more specifics about those different opportunities and different employers that they have from here. But this is a quick little idea of what research looks like to us.
Virginia Tech, the spirit of discovery, the drive to improve, to invent. This dedicated community is committed to reimagining the future through the hands-on, minds-on power of innovation.
I think one of the really powerful things about the classroom is the excitement of discovery.
When they leave my class, I want them to have higher standards for what they expect of themselves.
It's really great to work with a professor who really cares about me and my future and the classes that I'm taking.
You can never have a closed, narrow mind about leadership because someone's going to come by and present this new idea to you, and it's going to change your view of everything completely.
At Virginia Tech, we provide our students with transformational educational experiences. We work with them in the classroom, in the laboratory, and then out here in this natural lab. We go from ideas to investigation to discovery.
Hands-on, minds-on learning stimulates curiosity, inspires creativity, and leads to solutions.
Tornado warning 4. For a meteorology major, the storm chase is the ultimate experience. Being out in the field is really one of the only places we have to really apply what we learn in the classroom.
There it goes, there it goes.
Doing research, it's challenging and you're like solving something that nobody else has ever solved before.
We believe in educating the whole student. In the Design Build Lab, students realize built works of architecture from conception to realization.
Our students work on this amphitheater throughout an entire school year. This is a life-changing experience for students because they get to see the positive impact their knowledge and skills can have on the community.
Virginia Tech's scholarship and research are truly transforming the future.
Someone told me once nobody will be able to solve the cancer problem, so I say I will. This is my dream. It's truly a matter of time.
We're working to reduce the risk of concussion from professional athletes to college, all the way to children.
What working in a team allows you to do is tackle bigger projects. Different team members have different expertise. It really allows you to achieve better, greater goals.
In my research, we're using unmanned aerial vehicles to sample microorganisms traveling tens to hundreds of meters above the surface of the Earth.
As part of my undergraduate research experience, I shadowed in the neonatal intensive care unit. So now I'm working on a project involving cerebral palsy in infants. I'm creating electrical sensors using accelerometers to be able to diagnose cerebral palsy earlier so that these babies can get the help they need sooner.
From the arts to the creative integration of arts and technology, to international collaborations and sustainability, the people of Virginia Tech are forging a better future, making driving safer, making our water cleaner, improving vaccines to combat disease, understanding the dynamics of ecosystems and public health in Africa, and exploring the depths of the human brain.
All right, so that's research, but the last thing again is that Hokie spirit and Hokie Nation that I like to harp on. Even not as an alum, you can definitely feel that Hokie spirit and Hokie Nation, not just within the Commonwealth of Virginia, but across the country and world, where we have over 300,000 alums spread out across the country and world that will continuously talk about their great times that they had here at Virginia Tech. How long does it take to get your bachelor's degree, and does it depend on the type of engineering? Yes. Everything is really dependent. So I can answer that question. Everything is really dependent. No one's journey within college, the college going process is ever going to be the same. I graduated within 4 years, but I know people who's graduated in 3 years. So based off the courses that they come in with, if they have credits that they get from high school, whether it's dual enrollment or AP or IB courses that they don't have to that satisfies other classes that help them don't have to take many classes. It really depends. And as well, it depends on the engineering program you decide to do. I know, for example, chemical engineering, they require a summer program So for that exactly, that's something different as those students who are not going to be in chemical engineering don't have to worry about particularly. So those are the things that you have to think about as far as what that is, and that's where you have to go do your own research and ask those questions in those particular programs, and as well as how are you able to accomplish these different courses. Another perspective that changes the timeline of things is definitely going to be when those courses, if you're able to take the courses at the time that they're offered. So for example, there are certain the foundations of engineering class is only taken, it's only offered in certain in spring or fall, one of those different ones. And if you're unable to catch it at the time because you have another class you have to take that's the same class, then that adds maybe another semester that you need to take that class for, and so on and so forth. So it really depends, but typically it's 4 years. But the range that if you ask any institution about their graduation rate, it's at a 6 year time span because most things is going through it between a 4 and 6 if you decide to do a internship and co-op. So random tangent, but good question. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, that Hokie spirit and the Hokie Nation is definitely the one that is felt within the Commonwealth and across the country as well. We're in the top 5 and most recently ranked number 1 nationally for our food and different options on campus as well. So great opportunity for students to eat well and eat healthy and things of that nature. We have over 900 clubs and organizations for students to get involved in. So those go into your, of course, some of your more professional opportunities, but as well for your more quirky ones as well. So one that I really wish I could be a part of is going to be the Chicken and Waffles Club. So every Friday, the Chicken and Waffles Fridays Club, they just eat chicken and waffles together and toast to a wing. I would love to be a part of that. And not all of them are just on the days, even though another one I'm going to bring up, which is the Chocolate Milk Mondays Club. So that's some of the group that just chugs to a pint of chocolate milk every Monday. So they actually like reserve a space in one of the dining halls and actually just like chug chocolate milk at that particular time. So that's dope. You know, some people who just enjoy those things and combine those different niches that you wouldn't even think that some people or other people are interested in as well. So even if you are a Nicolas Cage fan, don't raise your hand, don't tell us because that's quite embarrassing. Those are the things that some people can get involved in as well, a Nicolas Cage fan club. So things like that. With COVID, are many of these programs that help communities still operational? Now they had to adapt to the problem. I mean, yes, absolutely. We're all being affected by COVID-19, and realistically, just as much as you are still adapting to the ramifications of COVID-19, not only whether that is physically, but mentally, emotionally, psychologically, we're all doing that as well. And as an institution, we're trying to make sure that we are doing the best due diligence to not only the community, but to the Blacksburg community, the students, the staff, all the above, to make sure everyone is continuously healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, and so on and so forth. So those are the things we do have to take in consideration of, where some of them may be operational, but may have to look in a different way. So as of now, the institution is still trying to make those decisions. What the Virginia Tech is really going to look like. President Sands has made the option that we're going to go back in the fall, but it may be in a hybrid sense. You know, some classes going to be online, some classes going to be moved. So it really depends on how that's going to be. But even when it comes to visiting experience, all the academic buildings are going to be closed. So there's that. What's the chance of getting accepted into Virginia? It really depends. That's not something I can directly say, but it really depends on that. But as we're talking about getting into Virginia Tech, here's a quick little snapshot of what 2019 looked like for our admissions process and what we actually looked like. So we brought in around 6,600 students that year, representing 45 different states, 3 territories, 64 nations, and over 631 international students. So a widely diverse population from the main areas and the domestic wise: Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and New York. Those are our top areas. Outside is obviously in-state. But these are our top majors as well for those students who are interested directly into that. Yeah, we're trying to be realistic about making sure this is a yes, we do accept homeschool students. We try to make it a very realistic approach and be transparent with everyone to make sure that we're thinking of everyone and making Virginia Tech as accessible as possible. with that. Um, is Tech Common App this year, and what's the most bizarre club? I think for me, I mean, bizarre is subjective to the person who, bizarre is subjective to the person that is to what you think it is. So for me, I'm not a big fan of EDM, so I think that was a really interesting club. But there is a whole Kanye fan club. Like I love Kanye, but wouldn't have thought to put myself in a Kanye fan club. But it's like I think that's kind of interesting. But yeah, there's a club that does a lot of it's like they have their own little petting zoo. That's woo, really interesting. Yes, there's a Kanye fan club, but I'm gonna stop rambling. But I'm gonna get to the admissions process of it. So it looks like a lot of the questions are getting involved in that. So we're gonna talk about the admissions process. Yeah, he is the GOAT, absolutely. So this is going to be a holistic review of how we review students and make sure that we are still still coping with the idea for Virginia Tech to be an excellent opportunity. So we want to make sure that we're holistically looking at students academically and personally. So we want to see who you truly are in the context of academically and personally in a very holistic approach. So there are going to be some updates in the top right-hand corner in these orange boxes for what we're going to do for this fall 2021 year for those students who are interested and who are interested in applying that are seniors to fall 2021. The first thing that I do want a quick update is going to be we're moving to test optional for fall of 2021, and specifically just for this year. And if we'll do some more research and see how accessible it is for it. And that's why I'm saying it's optional. The SAT and or the ACT is completely optional for those students who are applying for fall 2021. When we say optional, it's completely optional. You don't have to, it's not required. You do not have to submit it whatsoever. The thing that we will look into is going to be your holistic review and academically, your grades and your academic rigor. You are allowed to, not yet, as of now, it's just fall 2021, not 2022. We'll do research and see how successful it is and what ways, if it means that we're going to be more accessible to students, then yes, we'll see. But right now it is just for 2021. Grades and academic rigor are going to be the things that we're going to look at. When we say grades, we're looking at the A's and B's in all your courses. And yes, we look at your PE courses or any of those non-core courses and see how successful you were into those as well. We see a lot of students saying, well, I got A's in all my biology and math courses, but you got a D in PE. We look at that just as much and as well with your as well as your languages and things of that nature. But as well, when we look at academic rigor, we want to see how successful you were in the most rigorous courses. So that means AP, IB, and dual enrollment courses. We want to see how successful you were in those courses as well. And we're not going to compare you to we're not going to compare it to every school in your county or whoever. We're going to say how successful you are at your high school and your high school alone. That's what we're going to look at. We're not going to compare you to, for those in the Northern Virginia areas, Thomas Jefferson School of Math and Sciences up north. We're not going to compare you to that if you're not taking differential equations by your sophomore year. We're not going to do that. We're not going to compare you to them and saying that if you're not taking the rigor of that robust, then you're not going to be successful. No, we want to see how successful you are at your high school and your high school alone. Is it just a year grade or quarters as well? However your high school reports your grades, that's what we want to see. But we realistically care about your year grades. I mean, if you started off with a B, but you ended the year with an A, you don't really care that you got a B in your first semester. Even if the ACT and SAT scores doesn't make a positive difference on the application if we do submit one. No, that's why we say it's optional, because that gives students who do submit their SAT scores an upper hand or an advantage, and that's not something that doesn't make equitable sense. So when students do submit your SAT scores, SAT or ACT scores, then that means that you are more than willing to submit them. We'll use those scores if you since you submitted them, but if you do not, then we won't charge it against you. We'll use other parts of your application to see how successful you are. And if you do submit them, we'll use those scores. But no student who submits them has the upper hand in those at all. So the woo, yeah, absolutely. Extracurricular activities and sports and clubs. Great questions, because that's going to be the next part, which is the personal side. So that's the sort of academically is that exactly we want to see how successful you are with those. The average SAT score from we had for a couple years ago was around a 1240, but that really depends on what major you apply to, because just because you meet averages does not mean you're going to be competitive. So do want to put in perspective with that. But not only do we want to see how successful you are academically, we want to see who you truly are personally, because this is truly the part that makes students stand out from their peers and everyone else. This is to give you an opportunity to tell us any and everything about who you truly are, whether that's those extracurricular sports and clubs, but we want to know who you truly are in literally any aspect. If you have 15 chickens and 2 cows, then we want to know that just as much as you being a captain on a football team, which for some odd reason, there's 50 million captains on every team. So everyone's a captain on a sporting team. So be realistic with that too. We catch on to that. But the other part is going to be these 4 personal statements. These 4 personal statements, they're going to be our essays to Virginia Tech, are called our pros and profile. And these questions are very reflective. So the questions are already on our website. You can go on there and see how and what the actual questions are and start answering them or reflecting off of them. But it's 120 words or less for each one. 120 words reflecting on service. So not just saying that you went to Ecuador and did some mission trip with your church or whatever. That's great. Congratulations, you did that service-oriented thing, but why did you do it? And what did you get out of it? Reflect on those experiences. And what did this mean to you to actually do that type of service? Service is really big for us. Resilience. The question specifically asks in matters of responding to discrimination, especially in the heightened times now when we're thinking about police brutality and systematic racism. So that's when we want to look at and how, in what ways, not saying you have to be particularly a victim of discrimination in any sort, but how would that look like in an outwardly sense? Even if you haven't experienced it, what does it look like if you did, or how would you respond to those different things? We want to see that kind of resolve that you have, and looking in an outward sense, since most of reflection is inward. We want to look at it outwardly as well. We want to see leadership wise, what leadership and capabilities and qualities do you exhibit on the daily basis? So those are the things that is not the more cliche perspectives, and you're more welcome to write about it anyway, to talk about, yeah, I brought my football team back. We were down by a touchdown in the 4th quarter. We brought him back and we won. Great. That's cool. But reflect on those things. What did you do? Why did you decide to step in for that role? And what did you actually do? What experiences do you do on a daily basis that exhibit that leadership capabilities? And the last one, which I love and hate at the same time, is going to be long-term goals. 120 words max, reflecting on those long-term goals and why do you want to do those, and who is motivating you to achieve those long-term goals. What we see a lot, which is annoyingly to say the least, that a lot of students say, I can't wait to be successful. Well, duh. I don't think anyone will say I can't wait to be a failure. So yes, everyone wants to be successful. So what is that success, and why do you want to achieve that success? What does that success look like to you? And who's motivating you, more importantly, to achieve those kind of success? So those are your long-term goals. So be very reflective and specific in all of these, in 120 words or less. So it's a big task to challenge, but we want to see, we think that students are able to do those. But again, this is that personal side to make sure students are being successful into that. I'm gonna get some of these. I'm gonna get to these Q&As toward the end, because these are a little bit all over the place. But so next thing is going to be so how to apply and what are deadlines. So yes, we are now on the Coalition and the Common App. So we don't care which one. We don't have a preference of either one that you actually apply to, whether that's the Coalition or the Common App. You're more than welcome to apply to either one of those. Our application opens up August 1, and we have 3 particular deadlines: early decision, early action, and regular decision. This is something not only for just for Virginia Tech, but the lingo for a lot of colleges is typically the same, but their meanings are wildly different depending on if it's a public institution or a private institution. So definitely wanted to make sure you are looking at you ask your other colleges that you're interested in about what these deadlines actually mean, what their particular deadlines mean. For example, we have early decision, which is a binding agreement that you have with us. So you apply by November 1, and you get your notification on December 15th. And by January 15th, we expect that $400 deposit if you are admitted to Virginia Tech. And that is a binding agreement. It's not a contractual agreement. Like, we're not going to sue you or take you to court if you don't honor it, but you are signing our honor code, and we're making that commitment to you as well. But for private schools, they may have more than one early decision deadline where one of them may not be binding. But for us, we only have one, and that's early decision, and is a binding agreement. And we take that commitment very seriously. So theoretically, you're only supposed to apply to one school early decision because you only can commit to one school. You only can attend one school at that time. So if finances is part of your decision making, do not, and I repeat, do not apply early decision, because for Virginia Tech and for most schools, you will not receive your financial aid package or see how you're able to finance the institution that early in the year. So if finances is part of your decision making, do not, I repeat, do not apply early decisions to any school, regardless if you love it or not. But if finances is not, and you know you want to go to that school and you're completely okay with making that commitment early on, then by all means, early decision can be an option for you. But if you still want to consider other institutions, as well as Virginia Tech, then apply early action. Early action is our non-binding agreement that you have with us. You apply by December 1, and you receive your notification on February 22nd, but you have until May 1 to make that decision on the National Decision Day deadline to make a decision if you want to call Virginia Tech your house or home. So, for example, if you apply to Virginia Tech early decision, but you also apply to Harvard as well. So on December 15th, you get accepted to Virginia Tech early decision, but on December 16th, you get accepted to Harvard. Congratulations, you're a Hokie. That's when we say it is a binding agreement that you have with us, and we take that very seriously. Early action, you still have until May 1 to make the decision if where you want to go or not. But we also do have regular decision. Regular decision is our space availability timeline. So I don't encourage anyone in here to apply regular decision. We understand that some students may not be able to get their applications in by December 1. So we still have until January 15th for you to apply, and you'll be notified March 5th. And you still have until May 1 to make a decision if you want to come to Virginia Tech or not. But it is purely space availability. So if you're applying to some of our more popular majors, i.e. engineering or architecture, business information technology, or some other majors that are more competitive, then at that point you are running the risk of making your application more competitive getting into those schools, get into that particular major. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to apply regular decision. Apply early action at the very latest. So here are the options that can happen within early decision. If you apply early decision, you can be denied. That means we can talk about some transfer options from there. And this is applying directly to a major. It's just not applying to Virginia Tech overall and then you can switch. No, you are applying directly to that one major and you cannot change your major. So you apply early decision. If you admit it, congratulations, you're a Hokie, yay. If you're denied, we can talk about transfer process. But if you are deferred, a deferral is basically saying that we couldn't say yes nor no to you to that specific major. So we want to see how competitive you are in a larger pool in which we will dump you down to early action. So no downside to that at all. That means we'll just take another look at you in the respects of another pool and see how successful you are, and then make that decision to you or not. Early action. Early action, that means from there you can be admitted, congratulations, you'll be a Hokie. You can be denied, we can talk about the transfer process, or you can be waitlisted, which means that to that particular major, we didn't have enough room, we weren't as competitive, but we don't want to say you're not completely impossible to get into Virginia Tech through that particular major, so we have to waitlist you. Regular decision, you'll be admitted or denied. From there, we do have a very great transfer process, so there's that. So if those students who are interested in transferring after a certain number of years or whatever, then we can talk about that. Hit me up individually about that. And these deadlines go for both domestically and international. Let me see what some of these questions are. So by binding, if we get accepted, then we go to Virginia Tech, but for priority. Wait, what? If we get accepted, we choose if we want. I don't know what priority means. If you're referring to early action, Bill, then yes. like if your early decision is a binding agreement that you have with us. So that means that it's not like we can't force you, but that's what you're making that decision to. I'm coming to Virginia Tech if I'm admitted on December 15th for early decision. Early action, if you are being, if you get notified on February 22nd that you've been admitted, then you still have the option of comparing other institutions to come to Virginia Tech. Early decision is that binding agreement that you want to come here or not. Is it okay if you want to do community college for the first year of college and then transfer? Absolutely, Brandon. That is perfectly fine. And realistically, a lot of students are interested in that particular area because of multitude of reasons, finances, or they may just not been thinking about the college going process so early. I definitely thought about it as well with my thing, but I got a full ride GVA, so I didn't have to think about that too much. So absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. And the transfer process is very seamless for us. Um, yeah, early action. That's right. Hypothetically, say if a kid had a bad freshman year, but a good positive trend throughout the rest of the high school, do you guys? Absolutely. We do see positive trends and all of that. And we definitely want to make sure that students are being successful. We want to see that students are being successful going on throughout the years. And it doesn't mean that everyone has to have the picture perfect, straight A's all through above, and you took all AP courses. Absolutely not. Everyone's year is going to look completely different. But we want to see how successful you were. And that resolve is really big for us. That level of resilience that students are experiencing, we really do captivate that as well. So don't think that everyone needs to have the picture perfect perspective of what success looks like, because that's completely different. So yeah, absolutely. Let me get to some of these Q&As. Does VT look at your AP exam grades? If not, we don't look at your grades. We look at the so not the so the scores between 4 and 5 and all of those things. We don't look at as far as our admissions process. We look at the fact that you're taking that class, but we don't look at that. We don't look at the actual score as far as making the decision if that student is going to be successful or not. No. Because the score doesn't really do anything for us. That helps you, but not more so for us. Disease also photography. Oh, they already answered that one. How's the acceptance rate for undecided students compared to applying to a certain school? So acceptance rates, realistically, overall, we have a 70% acceptance rate, but that differs because you're applying directly to a program. That's where that 70% is somewhat misleading because you're applying to a particular program, but we bring in so many students. We bring in over 6,600 students. So we get around 32,000 applications every year. And we send over 19,000 offers and we bring in 6,600 students every year. So depending on the major that you are applying to, that's how competitive your chances are going to be for that. And for us, it's over 110, 120 different majors. So it really depends. It's literally a toss-up how competitive it is for that particular year. Engineering, architecture, BIT, business, some majors in business are always going to be competitive. But for example, physics 2 years ago was just as competitive to engineering, but it was not competitive last year. A lot of students are trying to find a finesse, and literally I'm going to be very informal with this, even though I'm always kind of informal. Y'all are really trying to find a finesse into Virginia Tech, especially for engineering. And that's not the case. And this program alone does not give you or garner you a heads up or an entry fee into the College of Engineering. No, not at all whatsoever. A lot of students are trying to find ways of getting into engineering just by applying to some of these undecided routes and then applying internally to go to engineering. That is not the best option for many students, and some ways that it makes the application process just going into those undecided routes even more competitive. Because what we've seen is that a lot of students are applying to university studies and explore technology as they're engineering minded students, but applying to that, wanting to internally transfer, which made university studies and explore technology very much so more competitive. So for those students who were undecided, those students weren't as competitive as those engineering minded students that are applying to university studies and explore technology. So it really depends theoretically on how competitive it is for each major. Our thing is, if you're interested in that major, apply to it. in those days, especially if your curriculum that you've taken in high school doesn't align with that major, then we have taking ideas and seeing how which if this major that you're interested in is the major that you should be going into, and that's something that you want to have the conversation with your parent or guardian, family, your counselors, and so on and so forth. We see a lot of students applying to biology but never taking a biology class. So how could we say that how successful you're going to be in biology? That makes sense. Like think about some of those things as well. For my school, we do IB classes instead of AP classes. You guys accept those credits? Yes, I do. Yes, we do. AP, IB, dual enrollment. We accept all of them. We don't really have a preference of either one that you take. IBHL is definitely preferred over SL, but we understand if you're unable to take it or if you didn't really control that, or like I didn't even know IB had an HL or SL until I got into this kind of sphere of things. Like in high school, I didn't know that even existed. But does VT have a graph to show ACT and SAT grades for all of the colleges? No, we do not, because that differs for every year. To apply, is it a separate website or is it using the Common App? You apply via, yes, this is very long. Is it the Common App or a coalition? You can use either one. We don't have a preference of either one, so it is a separate site. It's 120 words or less for each personal essay. The Virginia Tech released their acceptance rates for individual majors. No. Could you still apply for engineering class even if you took computer science, robotics, etc.? I would ask specifically the College of Engineering Advising. They can help you specifically with that. Did I answer all of those that was in here? Oh, what is the maximum number of AP credits that VT accepts for an individual student? Up to a associate's degree, so roughly around 60 credits you should be able to bring in, 48 to 60 credits. But it really depends on which ones they actually want to transfer over to. But a B or better in all of those particular courses. Do they check SOL scores? No, we do not. We don't care about SOL scores. All right, so that's updated for that. Let's cancel that. Last couple slides is going to be financial aid. We've got about 5 more minutes left, so try to get this out as much as possible since this is already kind of long. Financial aid, we're not the gurus for financial aid, so I don't make myself the person that you want to talk to about finances, but I do like to talk about it since that's something I didn't know about when it came to financing colleges, because it can be very expensive. So this is the direct cost of attendance, and it's something that you want to take in consideration is a true cost of attendance. True cost of attendance equals it's an equation, the direct cost plus indirect cost equals the true cost of attendance. The numbers you see on here for in-state, for tuition and fees and room and board are the direct cost. So you're looking at other institutions as well, how successful you are at financing an institution. You want to look at the direct cost, which is the tuition and fees and room and board, plus the indirect cost. Indirect cost basically going to be transportation, books, miscellaneous things that you'll need to buy, or you are just a student. Those are the things you want to consider about financial aid and stuff like that. Oh, great. Absolutely. So we won't have to talk too much about financial aid, but that's something that you want to take in consideration of about that as far as how successful you are at financing. Virginia Tech. There's that, the financial aid. So, another part I do want to put in perspective so you can hear this more than once. General scholarship application is separate from the Common App and the coalition. So a timeline that you have is you apply for whatever deadline that you have. So if that's early decision or early action, so either by November 1 or December 1, you apply by then, give it a couple days, and then you start working on your general scholarship application, which is due January 22nd. The general scholarship application is completely separate from the coalition on the Common App. You apply to either coalition or Common App to Virginia Tech as a whole, submit that, then you will get access to actually start on the general scholarship application. This is where 90% of the money that you will receive from Virginia Tech is going to come from. So if you don't apply to anything via the general scholarship application, you probably won't receive any merit-based money. So if you can't do early decision because of financial, do you have to wait until regular to submit it? No, you can apply to early action. Early decision is November 1, and then early action is December 1. So if you can't do early decision, then you can apply early action. The last thing I do want to put in perspective for those students the Virginia students that are at select high schools, and I'm gonna put a link in the chat for you all to go to that. We do have a thing called Raise Me. Raise Me is a micro scholarship opportunity for those students to actually build up money on their own from the things that you are already doing. It's incentivizing the things that you are already doing to make more money to come to Virginia Tech, where you can earn up to almost $12,000 from the things that you are literally always doing. So there are micro scholarships. So if you take an AP course, there's $20 already. If you got an A in that AP course, then here's an extra $30. If you're a captain on these many teams, if you're a part of different programs, then you can achieve different amounts of funds for those little things that you are already doing. And you can accumulate that money all the way up into from ninth grade all the way to 12th grade, and then accumulate up to $12,000 to that for those students at select high schools in Virginia, specifically only just for Virginia schools. And I'll share that link with Martin about the school high schools that are eligible. These are the qualifications for students to do that. You have to have a 3.2 GPA. You follow Virginia Tech, and you enter all your grades by December 1. So once you have that, then you'll be able to see how much money. And as you put your stuff in there, you'll be able to see information in there. You'll be able to see how much money you are raising as it goes. So once you do like your 9th and 10th grade, you can see there's a tallied bar to say you've accumulated that, or you've already accumulated $7,000 already based off the things that you've already done. And even if you attend certain events, you can actually achieve more money from there too. So you guys can hit me up individually as well about that, because I am the liaison specifically for Raise Me. So let me know if you have any specific questions about that. But that's it for me. Yeah, I did it actually in 5 minutes. But I can answer some of these last minute questions so you guys can get on to the next thing. I want to hold you on too much. Wait, then what's the point of taking the SOL? SOL has nothing to do with college. But I'll let you guys deal with that question. Does room and board? Okay, we already answered that one. Cool, yes. So wait, there's another. Yeah, so that's all that I have. Yep, I'm about to type it in now. My email is wright3@vt.edu. So it's WRIGHT, the number 3@vt.edu. And give me a real quick second while I get you this link to see if you are eligible for Raise Me. Copy and paste. Cool. So that goes to that. That's our Virginia Tech page about Raise Me. There is a drop-down menu on that page as well to list all of the high schools in Virginia that is eligible for Raise Me scholarships. And it gives you all information about how to actually process through Raise Me and all the above. But you guys can hit me up individually. Just give me an email, shoot me an email, and I'll be able to answer those specifically about that.
Donnell, thank you so much for your time today and for all the work that you do. As I shared with the Pathways participants, you're our liaison to our program. And so by all means, as they go through our program over the coming months and years, we look forward to connecting with you and undergraduate admissions, and been very helpful today to give this overview, because I know we had a lot of interest in having this type of session with our camp. So we're glad to lead off with our first lunchtime session being you. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, definitely appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to speak with you all. Hit me up. I'm really chill, so just hit me up if you have any questions about anything. About the college going process overall. Let me know what ways I can help in any way. Thanks for having me.
Sounds good. Well, thank you again. Just a reminder to all our Pathway scholars, your design sessions are at 2 today. So you'll be convening in your teams again at 2. Again, appreciate your time today. And if you have any questions or continued challenges in connecting, do let us know. Talk with your counselor, and we'll work with you on that. Otherwise, we'll see you all later. Thank you.
Peace.